Juarez. Most of the bars and clubs and places with women were for the tourists and soldiers who came over from Fort Bliss and weren't open yet. But the 2x4 was open early to catch the people who were going to the market. Had been open since 3 o'clock. It was a simple place to eat. In the front was a large gas grill with pipes filled with tiny holes for the gas to burn in rows of blue flames. Past this rotated a rack with whole chickens on steel rods. On a stove to the side was a large pot of beans, frijoles, and at 4 booths were bowls of salsa with seeds, and so hot even Manny, who had a tongue of iron, couldn't eat it. In the rear of the cafe was a large steel drum with a flame in it and a flat piece of steel on top for cooking tortillas. At the drum stood Maria. Manny thought of her always as old Maria, although she wasn't so old. Taking the corn dough in small pieces and slapping it flat with her palms, slapping it to drop it on the hot tin, flicking it over with her fingers when it was smoking, cooking the other side until it was done and brown, and adding it to a stack of tortillas that never seemed to grow because people ate them with the chicken and salsa as fast as she could cook them. If he stood long enough and smiled in the shy way, old Maria would sometimes hand him a tortilla, and he could get some beans from the pot if he was lucky, and that would cut away the hunger for a time. Once a drunken soldier had believed his limp when it was dark, and he was begging, and had given him $5 American, which none of the larger boys had seen, so he'd managed to keep it. At the time, he was only 5 or 6. He didn't know his true age, and $5 American was a fortune. He had taken it to the 2x4 and bought a chicken and tortillas and Pepsi-Cola, and had eaten and eaten until nothing but bones remained. That had been a time, that day. He hadn't gotten full, but there had been something close to it, and he could still close his eyes 8 years later and remember the taste of the grease and the garlic on his face, the feeling of his stomach swollen with food and not with hunger. He'd spent over half of the $5 just on food, and would have spent it all had a larger boy not seen him eating and known that he had money and taken the rest from him. Even so, with just half of it, there had been much food, a whole chicken and a stack of tortillas. He arrived at the back of the 2x4 and stopped outside the screened alley door. It was hot in the alley and the garbage smells were getting strong, but still the odor of the cooking chicken and the scorching tortillas rolled through the screen and took him. His stomach rumbling, he looked through the screen to see Maria standing by the metal cooker, and he smiled, the shy smile. "Hello, beautiful lady. How is your morning?" Maria looked through the screen and laughed. "I could set my watch by you, if I had a watch. First the sun, then the heat, then Manny Bustos coming for his breakfast." She finished slapping a tortilla and threw it on the tin, flicked 4 of them over, then picked up some corn dough and started making a new one. Some hair had come loose from the leather tie-back and hung down the side of her face. It was rich and thick and black, but for a small streak of flour in it where she'd used her hand to push it back. "I can let you have a tortilla, but the frijoles aren't ready yet." Manny nodded. "I would be very grateful for a tortilla. Your tortillas are the best I have ever eaten. So smooth, so smooth. You are as smooth as my first husband when he came to talk to me of the moon and beauty." She opened the screen and handed him a tortilla fresh off the stove, so hot he had to juggle it with his fingers to keep from burning them. When it was only slightly cool, he rolled it expertly in a tube and ate it in 2 bites.